What's up everybody, it's Dakota. Today I got another flow for the BJJ community. It's my favorite flow to do every time before I roll. So I hope you enjoy this. Okay guys, for the first part of this flow, we're just gonna roll out our shoulders. So go ahead and take your shoulders and just simply roll them out. So if you didn't know, the two biggest joints in the body are the shoulders and the hips. So you're mostly going to warm up every time before you, start doing anything in terms of grappling at all, just getting them warmed up. Once you feel good, just going both ways with this, feeling the range of motion, just get a little bit further. Really try to extend through the rhomboids, and that serratus anterior, really lifting up, opening up the scapula, getting the blood flow going. Wonderful. And whenever you're ready, we're just going to grab your belt. Just got my blue belt about a week ago, so that's fun. Bring it about like so, and just go forward and back. So we're just doing circles here. You've probably done this before. Do a few where you barely feel pull in the chest and the front delts of the shoulders, and then when you feel good, just simply go closer. Go about maybe 6 inches closer until you feel a good stretch. There you go. And do about 3 or so here. Go nice and slow, don't overdo it, just finding that nice range of motion. Wonderful. And for your last few, find that 70% where you feel a nice little stretch, but again, it's not too much. You can still easily go through the motion, but you start to feel that pull. I'm just gonna do a few here. Awesome. And one more. Just these active stretches already, I feel a sweat. I do got it turned up to 77 in here, but I do feel a little sweat just making an active range of motion drill. Once you feel good with that, go ahead and set your belt to the side. We're going to come into a chow pose. So just drop your hips all the way down, and we're going to rock left and right here. So the main thing I like to do before I roll is really give love to my hip flexors. So just rock left and right here, massaging everything in between in between your thigh and your stomach, all parts of the hip crease. Wonderful. We're going to gaze forward. As you inhale, we're going to roll forward into a seal pose. Again, giving loves to the hip flexors. We're always pulling our knees to the chest. One of my favorite memes in the jiu-jitsu community is like the white belts. You see their elbows and knees kind of close, and it just shows the progression to blue, purple, brown, black, and the elbows just get closer to the knees, and they just get closer and closer. So all of this pulling in here, pulling in knees to the chest, we want to open that out and give love to the hips. So shake it out a little bit more here. One more inhale. And as you exhale, send the hips back into your child pose. We're going to do a few hip circles here. So inhale, come up to the right, all the way. Exhale, back to the left. Just big circles. Inhale, up to the right. Exhale, back to the left. The same thing, just switch directions. 2 full circles this way. Keep your breath going. So again, just warming up the SI joint and lubricating all parts of the hips. Great. On your next inhale, we're rolling straight forward into an up dog this time. So pick up the knees, reach the chest up. Exhale, come into a down dog. Just pedal it out here. So again, pedal it out, just getting the blood flow going. Down dog is one of the most, dynamic poses you can do. It just stretches all the back sides of your legs. You can open up your heart, start reaching through the hammies, the lower back, all parts of the back gets long, nice decompression. So go ahead and shake it out here. One more breath. I'm a yogi, I always come down dog to warm up. Great. Let's step the left foot sort of to the middle and inhale the right foot up to the sky. And as you exhale, we're going to bend this knee and roll the hip open to the left. Just pause here for breath. Try to get some extension in this right knee away from the right hand. And then we're going to do circles here. So 2 circles, go both directions. So you really start to feel lubricate here now. It takes activation to do so. It takes muscle to do this. And after your last circle, we're going to bring this foot up to the top, coming into our lunge pose. And we're just going to stop here. So right here, I want you to drop the hips forward. Maybe even to where you can come up. That's fine. Maybe you use your hands on your knees. But I just want you to feel this left hip drive forward. Don't pass your point where it's like, not comfortable. But feel that stretch in the hip flexor. It's the main thing we want to do here. And if it feels good, maybe you walk down, bring this foot to the outside a little bit. Just rock here. Maybe you turn to the right a little bit just to drop this hip down to where you feel stretched. Maybe it turns more toward the outer sides of the legs. Play around here. If you want to grab the knee, that's fine. Maybe you're not warmed up yet enough for that. It's not important. Just moving through the hips a little bit here. Awesome. I like to literally massage out my hip flexor here. And if you can even feel, maybe you bring your right hand down, bring that foot back under you. If you can even feel, you know where that hip point is? I like to sometimes stick my fingers in here and just sort of massage that out. There's a lot of fascia in the hips. My mic's kind of in the way right now. But there's a lot of parts of the hips where you can just massage out yourself. Great. On the next exhale, we're going to bring this knee down all the way under us, come into your pigeon pose. So maybe your body's more to the right. If you need to, stack something under your right hip, or just bring this foot more under you to where you can square up the hips. And again, rocking left and right, just giving a massage, just right hip flexor, nice stretch for the piriformis muscle, especially if you like doing triangle. Doing a lot of triangles, you're here a lot. You're like living right here. Wonderful. On your next inhale, lift the chest up. And we're going to exhale, leave the right foot where it is. Straighten out the leg as you pick up the hips. Step this left foot to the right, that back corner of the right back corner of the mat. And right here we have this beautiful stretch for this outer side of this right leg, this IT band. Maybe you inhale, reach the chest up. And then exhale, do a little curling here. Inhale, arch the back again, and exhale, curl. Great, step this left foot back to the left. Inhale, reach this right foot all the way back up. Exhale, drop it down. Left side, inhale, lift the left foot up. As you exhale, bend the knee, roll the hip open. Just pause here for breath. Again, reaching to the left hip, finding space here, because all you do is flex in pretty much when we're rolling. So we're trying to open up space now, and then do your circles. So really lubricate that left joint. I literally do this almost all the time before I roll, especially down dog, little hip circles. And then bring that foot underneath, in between the hands. Drop the right knee down, pause here. Send the hips forward to where you can feel the stretch in that right hip flexor now. Maybe you come up onto the hands, maybe not at all, you just feeling the legs, a little activation, gets you a little bit warm too. Just feeling that stretch here. And then whatever feels good, again here, playing around with this. As that right hip drops forward, maybe you sneak that left foot out, do a little twisting to the left. You just feel different sensations, different parts of your hip fascia. There's a lot of different parts you can stretch just by doing a little twist. So just play around what feels good for the body. You stay there. Maybe you bend the knee, one last breath. Feels good. And we come back to the center. Sneak that left foot back under you. We're going to take this right hand, take a second, massage out the right hip crease. Right inside the hip bone. It's almost like you're going for a psoas stretch, but you're more by the bone. And great. We're just going to sneak this left knee down next, come into our pigeon pose. So again, your hips are square. We're lifting the chest up, just rocking left and right. Give me that hip flexor massage and that nice stretch the piriformis muscle. Again, you triangle people. This is everything. You got to live with that, with the 90 degree. You should be more towards here, those of you who really have the flexibility. But if you don't, you're still just warming up, it's fine. We're going to come up next, same pose. Left foot stays behind the right hand. Sneak that right foot to the back left corner. And we're here. Maybe you just enjoy a forward fold here. Maybe you reach the chest forward and stay here. I find that stretch the best. You really feel on the outer left side of that left leg. It is great. One more breath. Maybe do a little curling and opening if that feels good. Great. Step the right foot to the right corner. Inhale, left foot comes up to the ceiling. Exhale, down dog. Pedal it out. See, you feel so much better through all parts of the hips now. Makes a big difference. And all we're going to do is drop the knees down here, come into Virasana pose. So the feet are flat, getting a nice stretch to the tops of the feet. And it's so funny, anytime someone tries to put me in ankle lock, I do not feel it, because I do this all the time. I do a lot of Virasana, a lot of pulling up, to where it's just impossible. I don't feel anything there. So it's a good win. And just sort of roll your hands out here. And then you can sort of switch. If the flat feet gets too much, you can curl in the toes, get a nice toe stretch. But here, just sort of massaging out the fingers a little bit. So I always do this. So at the end of the day, you're just giving some love to the hips, the shoulders, and then maybe the fingers, the neck, maybe some things that are like, more sore for you. But I know my fingers are always sore, my hands, especially when it's with gi. But all the time, it's the hips, the hip flexors. If I do a lot of rolling, a lot of live, it's always the hip flexors, pulling the knees into the chest so much, keeping your guard. It's a lot of pulling in, a lot of flexion. So we need extension, we need to open up. So wonderful. Drop the feet flat here, grab your belt. And you might not need your belt here. So if you can reach one hand up, we're gonna do right hand reaches up first, left hand reaches down. We're gonna bend at the elbows and grab hands. If this isn't accessible for you, maybe you grab the shirt, or you just simply grab your belt. You can have as much help as you want. Maybe you only need like this much. You're just reaching up closer to where you can get close to your hand one day. So you drop the belt down, you reach where it was, and you just walk your fingers close, find to where you're comfortable. And once you're good, maybe you lock hands, maybe you stay at your belt. We're gonna reach the chest up, and we're gonna exhale, lean to the left just slightly. Reaching that right elbow point up to the left, away from the right hip. So you get a nice elbow stretch, nice tricep stretch, nice stretch into the right side of that armpit, and then you get the front delt of the left shoulder. Oh, it's so good. On your next inhale, let go, reach the hands wide, and then exhale, just switch. So maybe grab your belt, come to that same position. Maybe this side's more flexible than the other. Whatever it feels like, just take note of that, remember that. Once you get here, you lock it up. Inhale, reach the spine long. And then exhale, maybe slight lean to the right, just to reach that left elbow up and away. So I want you to feel that left side body get a nice stretch, nice extension. And of course, this right front delt. Some people, this might be too much for the right front delt. Just depends on your body. This is a very dynamic stretch. On your next inhale, letting go, reaching back out. We're just gonna bring our hands behind us, flat, fingers pointing towards us. On your next inhale, lift the hips up and drop the head back. Maybe find a few breaths here. Again, the wrist, nice stretch, shoulders, nice stretch, and the same theme of opening up the hips. So really drive the hips to the ceiling here. And go ahead and let go, exhaling. Come on down. And that's what I usually do. So that's really a very basic yoga routine to do every time before you start rolling, just before your warm up. A lot of times the best warm up is obviously the acrobatic warm ups where you do your front rolls, you do your shrimps, all of that stuff to where your body's on the ground, it's moving. But this is something to do when you're by yourself, you're waiting until you do that team warm up or whatever. It's just good to step into your own body, find out what works for you, because even though our general warm-ups are great and they do get your body warmed up, it doesn't really address the small things that might be wrong with your body. So if you have really tight hip flexors, like I'm just speaking from personal reference right now. Most of the time, my hip flexors are the most tight thing. If I'm doing 3 nights straight jiu-jitsu, my hip flexors are sore, my psoas are sore. So I'm like rolling out my hips, I'm doing a lot of lunges, I'm doing a lot of opening that up, and that's my main focus. All the other things, maybe it's your lower back for you. Whatever it is, just find a routine that works good. Find some of these poses that works good. Mess with them, the variations. The variations can change. So, as always, yoga is what you make it. So I hope you enjoyed this little routine, and I hope it's something you do before you roll next time. So until next time, namaste.